one of the things one of the reasons why I started this business, and one of the big reasons why I was like, there is a need for a program like this, was because I saw how poorly the sales process was being done at clubs.
Yeah, firsthand.
Right? Firsthand. And I saw that through secret shopping clubs, when I was doing consultations and stuff all around the country. And just being in the industry and seeing it, I just saw that there's a bad sales process. So I've personally experienced this, but I've never had like real true data to back it up.
Right. It was just all anecdotal.
Yeah. I've always just been like, yeah, the sales process is horrible. They send these data dump emails. They don't follow up. They're not actively selling. They're not actively promoting. They're not tapping into the psychology of why these people want to join. It's simply, hey, you want some information, here it is. And if you want to join, come talk to me. That's what it felt like.
Right. And I agree. Right. And also from your experience, how long ago was that when you started to like notice this trend? 10 years?
Yeah.
Right. So we still do it today, both internally, secret shopping for our guys, for their community, but in training as well. We do this. We call clubs, and the process hasn't changed in 10 years. Right. It's still the old antiquated way of doing it.
I think it's actually gotten worse.
Oh, through COVID. That makes sense.
Yeah. Because, and this is kind of what we've been shouting.
Yeah.
Right. Is that there was this demand where, man, prior to this and all the memberships I sold, and I'm interested to hear your take, but prior to this, I can think of like one instance where somebody actually called me up, was like, hey, I want to buy a membership, and walked in and gave me money.
So rare.
It was so rare. And
I can probably one hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And those are great. And you still kind of have to do a little selling, but that happened a ton over the past 2 years.
Yeah.
Right. People just walking in, signing up.
Options became very limited as to what you could do.
Me and my family were one of them. We wanted to join. We went and saw a place for three separate times, never received a follow-up. We're not like pursued at all. And then eventually we walked in with a check and gave it to them, Right. So it's crazy. And so I've always known, you've always known, everyone within Capstone has known that there is this major deficiency when it comes to a sales process at country clubs. Right. And that is such a shame, because that is the lifeblood of country clubs, is memberships and membership sales. And so what we wanted to do is we actually wanted to put this into a study, right? And just be super objective about it. Like, how is the sales process? And so we did it. We secret shopped 100 clubs out in the market at random with a couple different traits that I'll read off here. And we got some pretty...
It's pretty telling.
It's pretty telling. And it goes in line with what we've already known.
Yeah, it substantiates what we've seen internally for a number of years.
Yep. And so really, I want to pose the question to the industry and to the industry leaders. If one of our key fundamental goals that and you hear this a lot, and I would agree with it, it's to grow the game, right? It's to continue to broaden the sport, the demographics, to drive these places, right, and continue to grow, right? Selling memberships to country clubs, golf clubs, or really any membership-based business, right, is how you grow the game, right? It's how you grow the business.
Yeah, it's the front lines of doing it.
It's a big, big part of the growth of this game. And we have a sales crew behind the scenes, and when I say we, I mean as an industry whole. We have a sales crew out there of membership directors that are not doing their clubs justice. And in fact, they are hindering the club's ability to grow and sustain long term. And they are also hindering growth within the sport that we all love, which is golf. And so we're going to blast this out there, and we're going to continue to do this. We're gonna secret shop every single club in the country over the course of the next year or so. There's around 4,000 private clubs, and we're gonna hit them all. And we're gonna continue to release this data. And my hopes from it is that general managers and membership directors will wake up and they will see that the process that we are doing right now as a industry whole, and Capstone is better, and we're going to release that data too, is pathetic. It's pathetic, and I want to change it. And that's what we're here to do. So let's dive into it. Let's get into the numbers. Man,
let's do it.
You can see I'm passionate about it.
Yeah. No, that was very well said. And it is obvious. And this whole thing we do on a literal daily basis is all geared towards that understanding.
Yep.
And I truly believe across our company, we all feel similarly.
Yeah.
Honestly, like when you work with it, and so on a day-to-day basis, whether you're at the club being the one selling it or on this side of the business now working on this side, you just see the impact it makes on all of it.
Right.
On all of it.
Yeah.
And to be able to be the person in that role that helps facilitate and filter through so many new members that are becoming exposed to the country club and community and friends and family, and to be there and see it, and then see from this side of it.
Yeah.
It's truly amazing.
Yeah.
So it is rare, but also real that we feel we feel passionately about it. We do. And, I would call on all membership directors to get real with themselves, and if you are lumped into these categories, and look, we're not trying to call anyone out. We're never going to, disclose what club is what in these processes. This is industry average as a whole. But if you are a country club listening and you want your specific results, call us. We'll give it to you. We'll tell you exactly how your salesperson's doing in our eyes. And we'll be very objective about it. So let's jump into the numbers and see where they take us. Yeah.
Now that I've teed us up, you all can probably imagine it's not so good. Right? There's
some room for improvement.
Yes,
that's for
exactly. Sure. So here was the, what do they call it in science? When they like lay out the
data?
No, not the data, like the study where it's, hey, like here's what we did.
The method.
Case study, that's what our producer's saying. No, that's not what I'm looking for. But anyways,
I was over
these are what we did. We secret shopped 100 private clubs in America with the following criteria. Their initiation fees range from $2,500 to $120,000. Okay, this was our first 100. They're randomly selected. They pulled from all 50 states, and basically what we did, which is the golden standard in the industry, we submitted an online inquiry. I would argue that those are your best leads coming in. When you get an online inquiry from your website, that is a hot lead.
That is literally someone who's taken time out of their day to sit down and contact you because they'd like to learn more about what you have to offer.
That's right. And so we gave our name, we gave phone number, we gave email, and we said we were interested in learning more about membership. Okay?
That's an immediate call. That's just so, like, that's the...
You better be on it.
Yeah.
And we have systems where our membership directors are alerted by text, and they are required to call within minutes of an online inquiry. So, and we're going to see if they're actually doing that in our secret shop.
That is also true.
Release that. So,
I have a guess, though.
Out of 100 clubs, 26% never even responded. Never even responded. Can you believe that? An online inquiry was submitted. 26 clubs out of 100 didn't even respond to it. That blew my mind.
Yeah, that's a process problem, it seems. That there's they're not. That's the thing.
And look, even if your club, because I could hear some people behind the scenes being like, oh, well, they're probably capped, or it's probably by invite only. That's not true. Number one, that wasn't within our criteria. But number two, even if you are by invite only, you still should respond to an online inquiry.
There's still, if nothing else for the sales process, you don't know who this person is. It could be worth inviting them, but also it's still a customer service-based position.
That's right.
It's still a country club, and you want to provide just high-level service to these people.
Hey, thanks so much for your interest.
Yeah.
We are by invite only. I'd be happy I'd be happy to jump on a call with you to discuss our processes. And then that's it, right? So anyways, 26% of clubs never even responded. So the rest of this data is out of 74 clubs. Okay, so the percentages are actually worse if you factor in the 28% that didn't respond. See what I'm saying? So our first data point is 95% of clubs that responded. So 70 out of 74 clubs emailed first. They didn't pick up the phone and call. Only 5% were calls.
So I think it's
crazy. Yeah, that also shows that maybe there's like auto-generated messages happening.
Yeah, I mean, obviously with 5% doing it right, I think there may be a gap in understanding why calling's actually so powerful.
Yeah, let's go into that.
Because it may be an information thing. I don't know, but yeah, I think that's worth talking about.
Kyle, could you brew a little coffee? I just need something warm. It's a little cold in here.
It is chilly.
Yeah. So why do you feel like calling is so important?
People join country clubs for relationships. Mm-hmm. And as the initial person that you're going to be speaking with is the membership sales director at a club, how that person interacts with this person from the very beginning impacts the way that person sees the entirety of the club.
Yep.
Because you've been on being the client or prospect or purchasing decisions in general. Mm-hmm. If a company or product has somebody out there who is making first contact and not providing a flawless process and an experience for this person, where you as a business are trying to get this person to join and become a part of your community and network and ultimately fund the business, right? Like this is a business. So if a company's putting a person out there up front that's not just doing an incredible job, that client or prospect is going to have to look at the product or club and be like, if this is my initial interaction,
how does it reflect the actual product?
It's not going to get better.
It doesn't reflect.
Yeah.
Well, totally agree. I think that is a big part of it, but also a huge part of it for me is just connecting with the prospect.
Yeah, you're building a relationship.
You're just building that initial relationship, and there is no possible way you can do that over an email.
No.
And if you can slightly over an email, it is not to the depth of getting on a phone call and talking to them. And the other thing you have to remember is, like you said, when they submit that online inquiry, they are thinking about it. It's in front of their mind
at that moment.
And they're wanting information at that moment. And if you can respond in minutes over a call, I don't know if you ever, I'm sure you got this, but I used to get it all the time where I would call instantaneously and people would be so thrilled by it. They'd be like, oh my gosh, you called so fast.
Yeah,
exactly.
So fast.
So clearly you've gotten it too.
A lot of our guys get it. We talk about it in training and then they go out and report back like, yeah, that actually happened.
And they love it. They love it, and you got them. Mm-hmm. You've made a great first impression, and you can move to the next step, which is what?
After the intro call?
Yep.
Yeah, getting them out there for a tour.
Getting them out there for a tour. Right.
That's all of it.
And you can make this happen so fast. You can jump on a call. They're thinking about it. You can get in front of them. You get it on the schedule. You get them excited. You learn about their wants and needs. So you can custom cater a tour to that process or to that prospect. And it's just something you can't do over email.
No, you need a phone call and a face-to-face interaction to be able to develop that relationship and understanding of what they're looking for.
So only 5% were calls. That is a mind-blowing figure.
Yeah, that's a non-starter.
You know, that's like, what's 5% of 74?
Oh, you want me to do that in my head?
Like 4?
No.
I think it's like 4 people. 3.5, 4. So about 4 people. I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to do the math. It's very easy. I should be able to do this in my head. Usually I can, but, on the spot.
We can cut all the parts of us not knowing the answer, then just coming back to
3.7. I was right there.
You were right in the middle.
3.5, 4. Only 3.7 people. I don't know how 0.7 people is. So maybe call it 4. 4 out of 74 people, but truly 4 out of 100 people called us. That's astonishing. I want to hire those 4 people. Can we find out who those 4 people are? So that was crazy. The next stats go into like how quickly they responded. 43% of clubs reached out within 2 hours, which is actually pretty good.
That's good.
32 out of 74, but it goes to, again, it was all emails. So I think a lot of these things are
just
auto-generated, right? One of the great things about modern day CRMs is you can set up all these systems to auto-generate. However, it is ultimately, in my opinion, dumbing down the sales process. And, you can feel that as a prospect.
Yeah, I encourage all during training our salespeople actually go out into the community and experience sales processes.
Yeah,
just to see what it's like on the prospect side of it. Yeah, you just
much better when you have a good process.
You just have to create a relationship and get to know the person, and it does. It makes it fun for both parties, regardless of the outcome.
Exactly. 12.2% of clubs reached out between 2 and 6 hours, so 9 of 74. 23% of clubs reached out within 24 hours, 17 and 74. 9.5% of clubs reached out between 1 and 3 days. That's pretty bad. That's really bad.
These last two are...
Yeah, and 12.2% of clubs reached out after 3 days, 9 of 74.
Yeah, that's...
Jesus Christ. So most likely... those, based off of what I'm seeing here, are, if I had to guess, those might be like situations where a general manager is doing both sales or a board member, and they just don't have the capacity.
They don't have the resources.
They haven't set up systems. They haven't set up structures, and it's just taking them a long time to get to. And you've lost them at that point.
Yeah. Right. But it seems a lot of this, what we keep encountering, and I keep hearing more about it, it just seems like process and information.
Yep.
And then the willingness to be in the position and do it.
Yep.
That's what we keep seeing across all these clubs.
This one is a pretty powerful one to me that is very, very concerning. 8.1% of clubs followed up after the first contact. So 6 of 100. So again, 6 of 74 that responded, but really 6 out of 100. So even smaller percentage, that'd be 6%. After we initially submitted the contact and they sent their auto-generated response or whatever, they never followed up again.
Yeah.
You lost them. And we know based on data, it takes 8 touch points to sell a memberships. 8. So literally, that is so many memberships that are not going to be sold because
they're going somewhere.
They're definitely going somewhere else. Probably a capstone club.
If we're in the market.
Yep. All right. This one's pretty bad too. 85% of clubs, so 63 of 74 that responded, gave pricing with their first contact.
Yeah.
So why is that that bad?
And that's what I think. Some of this is just like knowledge, right? Like it's not maybe intuitive to just as a whole an industry, but I think helping better understand these principles and things that truly lead to more sales in a more full club and a more fulfilled club is doing these things a certain way. And they do matter, to your point.
So why do you feel like I have an opinion on this? Why do you not want to give? Because, right, the argument could be that you want to be transparent about your pricing. This is vetting the person because if they're not within the price range, they're going to, not be interested. So you're not going to waste your time on a tour or call or whatever, right? These are things that I've heard throughout the years. And again, I think the biggest thing is like, well, we just want to be upfront about pricing so that they know where we sit, right? That's typically the argument that I see. Which
those all hold small amounts of water.
Yeah. You could argue potentially that could be a good thing initially. I don't believe it to be. So yes. So let's dive back into that. So why do you feel like, I have some ideas, but pricing, look, like you don't, in my opinion, in membership models, you don't want to give pricing initially. Right. And for me, it is about a membership is a lifestyle enhancement product. You cannot justify a membership financially, okay? You can't do it. And if you have a product or a prospect that is trying to justify a membership financially, Number one, they're probably going to be playing a lot of golf, right? And beating up your golf course. They're probably not going to support the club the way you want them to. They're probably not going to tip people real well around the club, right? It doesn't make financial sense. It only makes a lifestyle enhancement sense because, right, you're enhancing your life. And that's the value that a membership brings. It enhances your life. It condenses your life, right? Meaning you can go to one place for a lot of different things. You are enhanced through relationships with both the staff and the other members. You get exercise that's going to enhance. Like, again, you cannot put a price tag on that, in my opinion. I mean, yes, you can, right?
Within reason. Yeah.
But if you are not selling, if you are not first finding out why these potential members are interested in a membership, and then you're not highlighting those reasons prior to giving price, your close percentages are going to be real low.
It's way down.
They're going to be real low.
And it most likely, and I don't want to say 100%, but it has nothing to do with your price.
Yeah.
They just have no context for what that means. They're looking at this price sheet going, well, I don't know. I'm interested in this would really help my life, X amount. I'm just going to at least put it off to the side.
Yeah.
It loses its connection.
Exactly.
But if you can have a conversation and better understand what they're looking for and how they want to experience this, then they come out and see it. Now they actually have the experience, right?
And going back to that, right? What did we just talk about, right? Like, you have to have that conversation with them and find that out prior to a tour, prior to disclosing pricing, all of that. You cannot do that over an email.
No.
You cannot do that over an email. And 95% of clubs send an email first. 95. It's crazy to
all
me.
of this compounds on top of each other throughout the whole process. It's how it starts, how's it going in the middle.
Yep.
And if you can maintain a good process all the way through, but if not, and if you're starting out that way, with an email, then the process is kind of...
With an email and pricing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, two of the most fatal mistakes in a sales process. If our data holds true throughout, which most likely it will, if you look at all, like, polling type statistics, it'll vary slightly, but overall it'll probably stay pretty similar to this. There is a existential threat to our industry because of our sales process. There is. Look at this sales process. It's so bad. 85% give pricing with first contact. 95% email first. Only 54% of clubs asked for a tour. What does our data show? It shows that at Capstone staff clubs, we get a tour, we close it over 50% of the time.
Yeah, just over 50%.
So literally right there, if you're just backing this out, that's so many memberships lost, right? Just because you're not asking for a tour. And we know, because 95% responded, they're asking for a tour over the email. That's nuts.
And I think that points to two things. One of which is how just literally powerfully experienced a country club is for someone who wants to be there and sees it working for their life.
Yeah.
Right? It's just going out there and experiencing. It's like test driving a car. It's like experiencing it. You just when you feel it in your hands and walking around the club, it's a great experience for people that it works for. But we also do give good tours.
Yeah.
To be fair, we've had also a good process with tours as well. But if you're just getting someone out to the club, you've got a chance. You've got a really good chance because they're going to enjoy their experience.
Really good chance.
And you're sitting in front of them.
And talking about pricing, because again, this is even an internal dialogue that we have.
It is.
Okay. So me personally, when I would sell memberships, unless someone is very specifically asking for the price over a phone call and is dead set on it, then I will disclose the price. But typically my response would always be something along the lines of, well, our process here at the club is we invite you out for a tour. We tour the entire facilities. We'll sit down, have some lunch, and, we go over pricing based off of what we feel like is going to fit best for you and your family's needs. And 99.9% of the time, people are okay with that. And
of course,
if I have done my homework on the prospect, which I always do, and I took them through an appropriate process on that initial call. And when I say appropriate process, to me, it's about learning about them. I'm not really pitching the club at all. I'm learning about
There's
them.
nothing to pitch yet.
Exactly.
You don't know enough about the person to even make sense for what fits with their life.
It's cookie cutter
Yeah.
if you do it the other way. Yeah, and you just won't have great conversion rates, right? So if I've done that appropriately, I know that they're a qualified prospect or not, right? And even if they are not, I'm still inviting them for a tour because I still feel like
You
I can
never
get
know.
them, or they might have a friend.
Yeah.
Right. So again, the goal should always be get on a call, ask about them, find out if this is going to match up, find out where you want to touch on in your tours, book the tour, provide a great experience, then disclose pricing.
I agree.
That is not the way it's being done in the industry.
No, it's reversed.
Yep, it's reversed. And again, I think a lot of people will probably argue, oh, well, clubs are full. That's why this process is not like this. They're full. Only 14.9% of clubs say that they are on a wait list through this. 11 of 74, right? That is not the majority percentage.
No.
You know? So that's kind of BS too.
Yeah, no, this is not because my club's full. I don't really have any need to talk to these people. But
Right.
Again, like we touched on, even if that is the case, that's still not the way to do it. But this industry is very open to new members.
Yep.
There's a lot of opportunity for people to join clubs.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if your club's not trying to take advantage of that and doing this the proper way, then you're missing out on tremendous opportunity.
Yeah, and based off of these statistics, there is a lot of missing happening out there in the marketplace.
And it's bad for the community too, in terms of the
it's bad
prospects
for
that are
everyone.
reaching out. It's just
bad
like
for everyone.
they're not getting what they're truly looking to have for their life. They're
It's
like,
a disservice.
yeah, they're not getting their answers met or their process or even a better situation for their family. They're losing access to that.
It's a disservice. And if I saw these types of numbers from a membership director that we are managing, I would fire them.
Yeah, you would just have to look at it once.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, that's pretty drastic. I would dive in. I would figure things out. I would look at a lot of
you
different
actually
things.
wouldn't fire the person, but
But
there would
if-
be a conversation.
There would be a conversation, but if those numbers then continued along these lines, I would fire them.
Yeah. This is below the acceptable level just to maintain a position within our company.
Way below.
This has nothing to do with like being one of the top performers. This is just like if we're seeing this, you're not a part of Capstone.
Yep.
And this is across the industry.
Yep. No doubt. So yeah, it wasn't shocking to me by any means because
No.
I already saw this, but to me it was more shocking like seeing it actually in numbers where I'm just like, oh my God, 95%
On paper, yeah.
emailed first. That is so surprising to me.
Yeah, and just the difference between that and a phone call, it's just like, dear valued customer.
Right.
You're like, if you get that email and then with pricing attached to it, you're like,
Well, here's another key point, right? And I didn't stage this. Can you read how many emails I have on there? Unopened.
stop it. That's a 6-digit number.
107,000. I get
Yeah.
a lot of emails. I get a whole lot of emails.
You're never
And
going to
if
see
they
an
are
email.
not top priority,
Yeah. Let alone it goes to spam.
I'm not looking at it.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not taking the time. And the other thing is if they are a very long email from something that like I'm inquiring for, I'm probably not going to get through the whole thing
No.
because within that 30 minutes, I'm getting another phone call.
Yeah.
I'm getting
It's
a
gotta
text
be
message.
short.
I'm getting more
Yeah.
emails, right?
Yeah.
And so we didn't put this on here, but it might be interesting to be like, how many words are the average response from these emails? Because I've seen them, and when we did shop them, I went through and looked at them, and the vast majority of them are very long.
Yeah, just paragraphs long. No
Very
one's
long.
reading that. Think about the articles you may like happen to read. It's like short, concise, to the point, gives you good information.
Yep.
But too long, you just don't have time in your life to sit down and have a long read.
Yep. And look, like we email, we do. Like it's part of our process.
We do, but it's very specific.
But it's not first.
No,
it's not first.
No, it's very specific throughout the process when we do it. And we have like templates that we use to help keep it short and simple and to the point and ultimately trying to connect with people on the phone or in person.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what our emails are. It's an attempt to touch them at a different point
Yeah.
to get on a phone call.
It's not just to inform or
no. Hell no.
No.
So anyways, it's pretty telling. And, I hope people listening will take it seriously, because it is serious. And, we're seeing a shift in economy right now. We're seeing a shift in the membership marketplace. It's still very strong. But look, if this is the sales process that is happening in the marketplace, and we as an industry whole are trying to grow this business, I got nothing for you.
Yeah.
We got to make changes. So, and that's where we're here. That's why we are here. This is why we are here. And so I'd love it if it wasn't the case. We'd figure out something else to do within the industry.
Yeah.
But this is a need, and we are fulfilling it right now. And so I'd love to get people's take on it. And, why don't we put the actual stat or the booklet or whatever it is so that people can see it themselves. We'll put it below this link. Click on it, download it. We'd love to get in touch with you. Again, if you are a club owner, operator, general manager, even a membership director, and you want to know where you stood on this, reach out to us, and we'll let you know if you're a part of this this initial 100 club list. But we're going to get through them all. We're going to shop them all, and we're going to come out with some really, really great data that my hope is truly that it wakes people up, and that people will start changing their process for the benefit of the club community that they're in. That's my goal with this. So.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Well said. And you can tell we do care about it and put a lot of effort and thought into it, because it's what we do on a daily basis.
Yep.
And we have firsthand seen the impact it has on the people who join and the club itself and all the employees of the club and the product itself and the community. And it's a really, really powerful and amazing process to get to be a part of.
Yeah.
And to see it done well is amazing, as anything is.
Yeah.
And to see it done poorly is frustrating at the least.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, detrimental to the growth of a sport that right now has some pretty good momentum, and it's a really fun time to be engaged in golf.
Yep. No doubt.
And being at a country club for a lot of families can aid in that.
Yeah. Everybody loves a great sales process, so let's give it to them.
Yep. Absolutely.
Right.
Well
Thanks,
done.
Adam.
Yep.
That, I think, wraps it up. So we'll continue to keep everyone updated on this. We'll put out more info and update you all as these numbers come in.
Great.
So, thanks.
Yep.
All right.